Oké, mensen van Rock of Ages. Ja, wij hebben het genoegen met een zanger, misschien wel een levende legende. Je kent hem van Wolfsbane. Hij zong bij Maiden en treedt al jaren op onder zijn eigen naam. We have here Mr. Blaze Bayley. Hello, Blaze.
Hello, how you doing?
I'm doing very good. Thank you very much. Yeah, first of all, it's really an honor to have you here on Rock of Ages Radio on AFM in the Netherlands.
Thank you very much. It's a real pleasure to me to be on the radio in the
Yeah.
Netherlands.
Yes, yes. So big fan base over here. So later this year, you're coming for a couple gigs to the Netherlands. We're gonna talk about that later. 2025. Yeah, it's the 25th anniversary of your first solo record, Silicon
hmm
Messiah. And we're gonna celebrate this year. But first, Blaze, I would like to go into the past with you.
Yeah, okay.
Can you tell us a little bit about your time with Wolfsbane back in the 80s, early 90s, when you became a member for Iron Maiden?
Yeah, well, Wolfsbane still together,
Hmm.
and we got, after my time in Iron Maiden, we kind of got back together and we've made, I think, 3 records
Hmm.
together since then, and it feels really good. Our new album is called Genius. That's our
Nice.
latest studio album.
Yes.
Very excited about that. When I started out, then I was just a normal, regular guy, a young man working in a hotel, working night shifts as the night porter, the guy, the guy on the check-in desk,
Yeah.
signing everybody in. I used to go to every heavy metal gig that was on in Birmingham, which was the nearest city, and it was Birmingham Odeon, which was only, I think, about 1,500 people, and
Yes.
I saw everybody there in that smallish venue for those bands today. I saw Metallica, I saw Bon Jovi, I saw Ronnie James Dio, I saw Iron Maiden 3 times
Oh,
in that
nice.
venue. Just a very small venue. None of those bands would play in that
Hmm.
venue today. So Ozzy Osbourne was there. Everybody. It was before stadiums and arenas. If people would do one night, or if they did well, they would do it 2 or 3 nights. So it was a great time. We started out in Wolfsbane. I just went to see Ronnie James Dio on his Holy Diver tour, and I heard him sing Children of the Sea.
Oh,
And when
classic.
I had the night shift, so I got back to work 11 o'clock, and one of my jobs was cleaning the hotel, and I had to hoover this old hotel. And I used to sing when I was hoovering, and I was thinking, if I could do anything, what would I do? And I thought I'd be just like Ronnie James Dio. I'd be in a band on
Yeah.
tour and
Became a
be a
singer.
singer. Yeah,
Yeah.
and I thought, well, why not?
Yeah.
I'm a young
That's
man. I
right.
don't have any children. Why not do that? I can't think of a reason why not. So that was it. So in that
Yeah.
moment, I
Yeah.
stopped being the man who was cleaning a hotel and became the rock singer who was working in a hotel to get by. In that moment,
Yeah.
and that's what started me off. And the next week, I think I saw an advert in the local paper called the Tamworth Herald, which said heavy metal singer required, no experience necessary. And
Okay.
that was Jace Edwards and Jeff Haitley, who were at school together. They were starting Wolfsbane, and that was the start of it, really. And we were men from a small town, just boys, really
Yeah.
wanting to make it. We loved heavy metal and we loved rock music, and it was that joy that put us all together. We were awful musicians. We were so
Yeah.
bad.
Why?
We
How
we,
come?
we couldn't even play covers because people would see how bad we were. So we wrote all original material so we could do our first gig, and we kind of stayed that way, really.
Yeah. Yeah.
So we were absolutely in the most bizarre way. We were rejected by all the UK record labels, and
Yeah.
an American record label got in touch with us and said, we really like what you're doing and we'd like to sign you up. So And that was the start of Wolfsbane. And in the era of grunge, then really it wasn't going well for us.
No.
It was more or less, it was over for us because we just didn't have the exposure to the marketplace.
No.
As a band. Our music, I feel, was always good enough, but we never got that opportunity to do in the Netherlands what we did in the UK.
No.
And that was just come in our van and play all the small venues to fans that were there. We just didn't have that opportunity, and I think that's why we weren't bigger in the Netherlands, and anyway, I got this amazing offer to say, would you like to have an audition for Maiden? And I was lucky enough to get it. So
it was a big turning point. Yeah,
they were great days for us, those early days. And I think that the thing that's most important to me is it was very a pure experience, as in before we got signed up, you would go play a gig. If people liked you, they would buy your demo tape, which we made ourselves, and your T-shirt, and they would come to the next gig that you did. That was it. There's no, no bullshit with money or anything like that.
Oh.
And you lived and died by your songs.
Yeah.
So I think that is something that became ingrained in me. Yeah. Writing for live. You're looking people in the face and you're singing to them. And if it's boring or ordinary, people don't come and see you again, or you go down very badly.
Yeah, and at one point you were like UK's biggest unsigned band.
Yes, we were the biggest unsigned metal band.
Metal band, yeah.
Rock metal band. We were, at one time. It was madness. But it's great times, when you think back to that. The industry was a different shape back then. Yeah. It's changed so much now.
Yeah. So at one point, Bruce Dickinson leaves Iron Maiden, one of the biggest heavy metal bands in the world, and they were looking for a replacement. How did you get involved with Iron Maiden in, 1994?
Well, Wolfsbane supported Iron Maiden after we were signed up.
Yeah.
And then after, it was the No Prayer for the Dying tour, and it was 35 shows or 33 shows in the UK, and it was the last time Maiden ever played theatres in the UK.
Okay.
And they did a theatre tour, so they were kind of saying goodbye to all those venues. I was just lucky enough when they were looking for singers, I managed to get an audition with Maiden. I was a massive Maiden fan, and there were, I think, 1,500 people sent tapes in. I was one of them.
1,500?
Yeah, I was one of the people lucky enough to actually get an audition. Yeah. And it was, I don't know why they had me. My voice is so different to Bruce.
Yeah, totally.
But
it is.
I think they wanted that change. They wanted something different. After No Prayer for the Dying and Fear of the Dark album, I think they really wanted to have a change. And the music changed. There was no music written when I joined Iron Maiden, and I wrote with the band. It was an incredible experience, and I think we came up with some fantastic music together.
That's great, because there was an album to make, The X Factor. A lot of people these days say that The X Factor is definitely an Iron Maiden album, but it's a little different. It was also perhaps a little dark period, also for Steve Harris. But how was for you the writing process for your first?
It was a fantastic experience. I learned so much working with the guys. What was really wonderful for me was a lot of my ideas. Yeah, that's great. We'll have that. Let's use that. So the first single, Man on the Edge, that went top 10 in the rock charts around the world. I wrote that with Yannick Gers. It was incredible. But also the experience of writing with people who had these huge albums and big songs over the years. I learned a lot from those guys. So Steve Harris would say, it's a good idea, but that part doesn't go there. The chorus doesn't happen yet. And this intro goes here and this part. And so I learned a lot. And all of those lessons really that I learned, I put into my Silicon Messiah album, which came
Yes.
after my time with Iron Maiden.
Yeah, because you were like with 5 years in Iron Maiden. I think your second record with Maiden, Virtual 11, was perhaps a little bit more straightforward. Iron Maiden, it starts off with a heavy rocker, then the lead singer with all these things that Iron Maiden stands for. You go on tour again for Virtual 11. Were there any signs that would be perhaps your last tour with Maiden?
No, I thought we were going to make a third album.
Okay.
So what happened to me was I had already started writing songs for what I thought was a third album. I had a few ideas, and I used those ideas on my Silicon Messiah album. So a few of those songs are what I would have been working on with Yannick Gers and Dave Murray and Steve Harris.
Yeah. After the tour, the Virtual 11 tour ends, have you a meeting or something that they say, well, Blaze, your time is up, or how was the departure from Maiden?
Well, I was treated very well. Bruce was
Yeah.
coming back. That was a lot of industry pressure because Judas Priest had a reunion, Deep Purple had a reunion, Black Sabbath had a reunion. All the big old bands were having a reunion because CD sales had gone away and they needed something to get interest back in the band, and everyone else had a reunion. Maiden did it a little bit differently in that they got Adrian back and kept Yannick, which I think was a great move considering some of the music that they've done, and that enabled me to start on the path of my solo career with Silicon Messiah.